Last time on pry bar knives.
Each one of these has a little issue. The Twosun, the lock bar is just a little bit strong. So it's a little bit hard to deploy, a little tiny bit. I did a little bit of a detent ramp on it, which helped. But I'm thinking I'm going to try to move that lock bar, just give it a little adjustment to the out, and see if it makes it a little more drop shutty, a little more easy to deploy. We'll see. This guy has the opposite issue. The deploy is a little too easy. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so you can just kind of throw it down and have it pop out. And the flipper is just a little bit anemic. And I think it's because that lock bar could be pressed in a little bit further. On this one has some lock rock. So we might push the bar in, or we might just do a little trick where we move the steel insert up a bit so that it hits the tang of the blade earlier. So, and then this guy, real strong lock bar that needs to be pushed out just a bit. So we'll get these guys taken apart and a steel insert up a few thousandths to where now it locks up perfectly, and it's only going in maybe 25% or so, and the lockup is perfect, and there's no play anymore, and there's no lock rock. And when you open it, and it's not quite as drop shutty as it was, but that's okay. It's really close anyway. I think it probably would get there eventually if you were messing with it. But it's just perfectly set up now, perfectly centered. It doesn't fly open anymore now. These minor changes, man, they can make from a knife that's nobody would really want because it just doesn't feel right to a knife that is just really nice and awesome. And now the lock bar is just that much weaker to where it can let the blade fall. It was dirty as shit too. We will finish up these other two next time, but I thought I'd just get this one in there and talk about it real quick and tell you that it worked great. All right, now have a nice day.
In part 2, pry bar will tackle these other two pain in the asses.
What do we have here? We got a part 2. Let's get this shit done, man. We spent enough time on part 1 messing around with these, figuring out what we want to do. This is the Kizer Critical. What we want to do here is bend this lock bar in just a bit to give it a little more power on the detent, so the blade just doesn't flop out super easy. So you have to flick it out to get it to come out. So let's look and see where it is now. All right, we can see that the lock bar is the inside or outside edge of the lock bar is about in the middle of the frame thickness. So my goal is to push it out enough to where the outside edge is about even with the inside edge. So we're going to move it over about a 32nd of an inch, something like that. So how am I going to do that is I'm just going to press on it. I'm going to press on it a bit and then let it go and then see if that ends up anywhere. That didn't look like it did much. So we're going to press it again a little further this time. Oh, that looked like it did something. Okay, so it looked like it moved a little bit. It's now maybe 2/3 of the way over compared to the thickness of the frame. I'm going to go one more little bit, I think. Boy, it's getting there. One more little tiny bit. Snap! Oh, that would suck. Okay, I'm getting close, really close. Man, I think that's pretty close, but it is a very light feeling lock bar, so I'm going to go one more tiny bit. Okay, I'm going to let it go there. I'm not going to go any more because I don't really want to go too far. If I go too far and then it's too strong of a detent, then I got to try to bend it back. Man, you don't want to go bending this thin piece of titanium here back and forth, back and forth. Eventually it's going to snap for real. Okay. So I think that one's where I want it to be. We'll have to get it back together to see for sure. Now let's look at this guy. Now this guy, I want to bend it back in a little bit. Okay, so let's look at the picture of how it was originally. Okay, we can see and we can compare it to that. And we can see this one goes in a bit more, quite a bit more than the picture of it with it up against the blade. So with it up against the blade, it's more like that, right? Or no, like that, okay? So then it goes in that much more. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to try to get it pushed in enough to where the outside edge of this lock bar is even with the inside edge of the frame, which is just a little bit. It's not going to be a huge difference. But to do that, I have to take out the steel insert there. Hopefully it actually comes out and doesn't fight about it like the Rike did, where it didn't actually want to ever come out, ever in its life. Yeah, this one is loose already, so it's going to come out, no problem.
Maybe a small problem.
Sometimes you can take a tool and put it in the hole where the bolt was and press it out from there by pushing into the hole that it's in. There we go. So that got it out. Well, I thought it did. Now it's falling back in. All right, just tap on it until it fucking falls out then. Son of a bitch. Come on. I fucking had it out. There it goes. All right. So it came out, no problem.
Did you want me to edit that?
Gotta take a close look at this thing. See exactly
so
where
it appears
is. Okay.
as though it really was no problem.
So I want to get the tip, that little tip right there, over to about there when I'm not pressing it. And then I'll be happy with it, I think. So let's give it a shot. Oh, it moved already. A little bit. Boy, it's pretty much getting there. But it moved easier than I would have thought. Is it hitting something? Okay. I think that's about where I want it to be. Okay, so we're going to try that. So we're going to get both of these back together, and then we're going to see how it works. So we got her back together. I started to do a little sanding on this flat side of it too while I had it apart, and it looks like total shit. I got to get it finished. I just didn't have time to actually do it nicely. But we're going to sand this flat side down really nice, and then maybe even polish it, and then leave it silver and leave the rest so that bronzy coating that's on there. I don't know, something like that. But the lock bar adjustment went perfect. It's much lighter to open, easier to open now. You can thumb it open. It was a little bit tough before. You could do it, but you had to really think about it. It's drop shutty now, very slow hydraulic drop shutty. Before you had to shake it. Now it's like, oop. So, little lock bar adjustment can go a long way. All right, now on to this guy, which we need to make less drop shutty and give it a little more detent. This one didn't need as much detent. It's perfect now. Let's see. Can I shake the blade out? Yeah, takes a good shake, but not bad. This is also a pretty heavy blade, so when you have a heavy blade like that, you're going to be able to shake it out. I'll be able to shake this one out too when it's done, just not as damn easy as like that. Usually, you got to kind of flick it to get it to come out. Like so, I give it a good flick, it'll come out. But just pushing it down, it shouldn't come out very easy. And this one doesn't. And that one won't either, hopefully, when it's done. So let's find out if that one works too. And if we got like 4 for 4. So 3 for 3 so far. So we got this critical together, and it's a partial success. It is still easy to unlock. The blade still drops like crazy. It's slightly slower on the drop. But I mean, like, still pretty fast. And it's a little more resistant on the flipper, so it's better. It could actually do with a little more pressure, so I didn't quite do it enough. I could do it another 32nd of an inch or something. So I think, we'll just hold off on that. I want to redo this. I did these scratches on the blade here. I want to redo it so that the whole blade has that scratch pattern, not just this upper part. And I think I'm going to drill that hole all the way through. So I got some more shit to do on this one anyway, and we will bend that lock bar in a little further when we're there. But for now, it's better. So 3.5 successes, 3.5 out of 4. That's not bad. 3.5 stars out of 4, something like that. So we got this guy, much better action now. No lock rock anymore, just better all in general. This guy, drop shutty, didn't used to be, much better. This guy, a little safer. The blade won't just fall out now with ease. A little better action on the deploy. This guy, just about drop shutty now. So, like I said, 3.5 out of 4. These are 4 great knives, by the way, too. We got the Kizer T1. We got the Twosun TS64. Do I get it right? I don't know. 1902 from Rike. Beautiful. They have in 2 sizes. This is the larger size. There was one that's about a 1/2 inch shorter. Looks really similar, just not quite as long and stealthy looking, just a little bit shorter. I think both are discontinued, so you'd have to find it on the secondary. And the Kizer Critical is just a badass big beefy tank of a fucking Warncliffe. So, some awesome knives and some fixes that had to be done. I'm not saying that these are going to come to you that will need fixing, because knives come in different setups. They're not always exactly the same. This one might not have as strong a detent when it comes to you, but to me it came with a really strong detent. It needed to just be a little eased up on. And this guy too, same thing, real strong detent, too strong. Now it's just freaking beautiful. That's about it for now. Have a nice day.